with severe weather coverage.
Thunder, lightning, and heavy rain. The latest round of strong storms just came through Pittsburgh, and those storms have not moved out of the area just yet.
Meteorologist Scott Harbaugh is in Severe Weather Center 11 with Pittsburgh's most powerful radar. Scott.
Yeah, Storm Tracker Doppler 11 radar has been very active this afternoon. Numerous warnings. Let's take you on a quick tour of what's going on right now across the area. Put cell path on some of these storms right now because we got some severe weather, mainly southeast of Pittsburgh right now as these all track off to the southeast at nearly 20 miles per hour. You can see the Mon Valley getting in on the act right now. This is heading southeast at just a little under 15 miles per hour. Banning coming up on your area at 526. Fuller about 533. These storms have a history of large hail, gusty winds, and damaging rain across the area. Matter of fact, the flooding rain you're going to see just a minute. Some of the rainfall mounts in this area. This is the rate in which the rain is falling right now. Falling at a rate of nearly 3 inches per hour. Got another severe thunderstorm warning back to the northwest right now into Beaver County. That one goes until 5:45 this afternoon. National Weather Service, by the way, has just issued a new flood warning for Beaver and Lawrence counties. That continues until 8 o'clock tonight. Let's show you the warnings and watches that are out there right now. Severe thunderstorm warning to the south into Westmoreland, Fayette, in Washington County till 5:45, Beaver County until 5:30 this evening. Also a flash flood warning for Allegheny County until 7:15. The numerous flood warnings for Beaver County until 7, northern Beaver and southern Lawrence County until 8 o'clock.
Rick Earl is in the Breaking News Center with the new pictures and video coming in. Rick.
Well, Darius, the worst of it seems to be on Washington Boulevard at Allegheny River Boulevard in Pittsburgh. That's not too far from the Pittsburgh Zoo. Now, we've gotten reports tonight of 4 feet of water and a woman possibly swept away in that area. Take a look at this picture. It says it all. This car appears to be stuck in rising water on Washington Boulevard. A viewer tweeted this picture to Scott Harbaugh this afternoon. Now, this area flooded last month. Drivers were stranded. 911 dispatchers want everyone to know that if water rises around their car, they should stay inside. Now, this morning's first round of thunderstorms has left most of Oakland, including hospitals and the University of Pittsburgh, without power.
We want to take you out to Chopper 11, which is flying high live over the flash flooding along Washington Boulevard. We got some reports of drivers getting stuck in more than 4 feet of water there. Now, this is near the Allegheny River Boulevard by the zoo. As you can see, that looks like a red car there to the left and a minivan of some sort, or SUV, that's stuck as well. This looks pretty deep here. Obviously, these cars are almost submerged as this water is continuing to rise. Apparently, this area has been a problem in the past. In fact, when we got some heavy rain a few months ago, several cars were trapped then. And as you can see now, this condition is pretty bad, and in fact, maybe worsening. We can't tell how many cars are there, and certainly we don't even know if there are drivers in there. I hope that's not the case.
Well, when this happened last month, that's when it was, Darius, last month, one of the drivers that was stranded actually got out of his car. And what we want to remind people here tonight is you're really not supposed to get out of your car because you could be swept away. You want to wait for people to come and rescue you. And we understand there are rescue teams on the scene.
Peggy and Darius, anytime you actually come across water like this, you definitely want to just turn around in that spot because it only takes 6 inches of water to knock a car off its axles a little bit and actually get you floating in that area. Keep in mind, this is the same area, as you two mentioned, flooded just last month. And the reason for the flooding today, some of these areas picked up 3 inches of rain in about an hour and 10 minutes. The good news, though, Peggy and Darius, the hardest of the rain done in this area, so water should begin to recede just a little bit.
And those look like boats.
Yes,
there,
it
Peggy.
does.
Those in fact could be some rescue boats there. You see the 2 boats that are alongside, the dinghies there that are alongside this vehicle that's underneath the tree. It's a good thing, Scott, as you point out, that the rain is done. Now we just have to hope that this water recedes fairly quickly.
And these folks are definitely being smart. They're waiting for the boats to come get them. You obviously see the rescue crews there on the scene. Again, this is Washington Boulevard over near Highland Park. You see the rescue crews there pulling people out of their cars. They did the smart thing because the water in that area, from the reports I'm getting on Twitter and Facebook, about 4 to 5 feet deep. So obviously not completely submerging the cars. So safe to stay on the roofs of those cars right now until the rescuers can come get you.
Yeah, and the other thing is you don't know if there's a downed power line in the water. You can't see in that mucky water, so you don't really know what you're stepping into, and you could be injured. So yes.
And we're looking now at some ground video that we have. This is live video shot now from the ground, and as we can see, there is a rescuer there in a boat literally paddling to the rescue of someone trapped in a car there. Interesting boat or dinghy or floating device that they're on. Obviously, it's a little murky down there and they're having to paddle through, but we know that there are several cars there. Obviously, the drivers are still inside, and so this has become a rescue effort.
And the curious thing is that this just happened a month ago. Chopper 11 live over Washington Boulevard. Flash flooding has swamped the street there and stranded drivers. You can see crews down there in boats trying to reach those trapped drivers. And this is video from the ground. Crews are using boats to reach the drivers. As I said, they tell us at least 6 cars are trapped by those flood waters. As soon as the weather was safe, we sent our Chopper 11 up in the air.
And we saw some pretty dramatic pictures if you've been with us. The situation unfolding live for you. Channel 11's Rick Earl is in our breaking news center to show us what's happening right now. Rick.
Well, Darieth, we are hearing some dramatic survival stories there on Washington Boulevard. We just spoke to a woman who says she was driving down Washington Boulevard. All of a sudden, the water swallowed up her car. She actually had to get on the roof of her vehicle and then swim to safety. It's an incredible scene taking place right now on Washington Boulevard. Let's go right to Chopper 11. These are live pictures as rescue workers there are trying to rescue people trapped in vehicles. As many as 6 vehicles swallowed up, stranded by this rising water when the rain came down, torrential rains this afternoon, and trapping these cars and these vehicles there. We understand right at this hour, right at this moment, those rescue crews are working to rescue those people out of these vehicles. Again, 6 vehicles trapped in this rising water, and this is that same area that flooded about a month ago. You see our ground video right there, just shot a short time ago. Another rescue crew there paddling to these cars, checking these vehicles out. That is the woman standing right there with that blue blanket around her. She is a woman we talked to who was on top of her vehicle and had to swim to safety. Here's what she had to say about this afternoon.
We were traveling fine. Water was probably up to the bumpers of some of the smaller cars, but I was in an SUV, so I was like, okay. And then the road just opened up. I mean, just opened up, and a white car sunk. This big red pickup truck went under, and then water started coming in my doors. I called 911. They said try to swim for it. The water by that point was over my head. It started coming in, so I climbed to the roof, and then the car, started going under.
Well, Peggy, it's incredible. Drivers are telling some incredible survivor stories about this torrential rain that trapped them. We heard from one woman earlier who says the water just swallowed up her car. She had to climb onto the roof and actually swim to safety to get out of that rising, rushing water. Let's go live right now to Chopper 11 over the scene there on Washington Boulevard. Incredible, though. You can see the water has gone down dramatically since we started covering this about an hour or so ago. The water reportedly 7 to 8 feet high, covering roofs. Now it has gone down. You see rescue crews out there right now. They were going car to car, checking these vehicles, making sure everyone got out. We heard some incredible survivor stories from people who managed to swim to safety. You are looking live at Chopper 11 as these work crews check these vehicles, about 6 of them stranded in this rising floodwater. Now we want to show you a better look at where this is happening right now. This is happening on Washington Boulevard. We have a map right now to give you an idea. It's Washington Boulevard, the same area that flooded about a month ago. This is just off of Nagley Run Boulevard, Washington Boulevard there in the Highland Park area. It's in the Lincoln-Leamington section. It's also real close to the Pittsburgh Zoo and Allegheny River Boulevard. So that gives you a great idea of where this is all happening right now. Let's go right now to our live pictures on the ground. This is a live shot. Look at that debris littering Washington Boulevard. You see some of the rescue crews standing around after working this operation, getting these stranded motorists out of their vehicles.
Tonight on 11 at 11, deadly flooding. The rising waters were too much, too quick.
The car was already submerged by the time I realized that, someone was trapped.
We're hearing from survivors who tell us how they made it out alive and learning about the search for a missing person.
The road just exploded.
Plus, a tree takes out part of this house. We go inside to get a closer look at the damage.
The severe weather has moved out of the area for now, but we're tracking possible storms for the weekend. It's all part of tonight's Severe Weather Team 11 coverage.
Live, local, Late breaking. Channel 11 News 11 at 11 starts with severe weather coverage.
Chopper 11 over deadly flooding along Washington Boulevard in Highland Park. The water came quick and fast, trapping people inside their cars and SUVs. Good evening, everyone. I'm Darieth Chisholm. We followed the rescues live tonight at 6, and we've uncovered a lot of new information since then. Here's the very latest. Investigators tell us 3 people are confirmed dead. They include an adult and 2 children. Emergency crews are still searching for 1 person who is unaccounted for, and Washington Boulevard remains closed tonight. We have Team 11 coverage of this major weather story tonight. Let's begin with Tamika Artist. She joins us live near Washington Boulevard, where the waters have receded this evening. Tamika?
Well, Darieth, that's right. Rescuers are still searching for 1 elderly woman. They say that her car is here, but she is not. I can tell you that this was an unbelievable situation. At one point, Washington Boulevard was under about 10 feet of water. There were people hanging from trees and standing on tops of their cars, just waiting to be rescued. For a woman and 2 kids, those flash floods proved to be deadly. It was a tragic scene along Washington Boulevard.
At some points down there, the water was over 9 feet deep. It had a lot of force behind it.
These muddy streets now representing a story of survival for some, a watery grave for 3 people.
That particular vehicle was pinned against a tree, and the occupants were unable to escape.
The car was already submerged. By the time I realized that, someone was trapped, but it was near where my car was.
Tara Howes was on her way home when rainwater suddenly overtook her car and sent it floating toward Allegheny River Boulevard. Emergency workers and boats scrambled to save more than a dozen people stranded in 10 feet of water. She describes how 1 man tried desperately to save 3 people who died.
I know that there was a man that was trying to help them get out, but he said he couldn't break the window, and he ended up climbing into a tree.
I talked with several witnesses who say they've never seen anything like this. Some had to think fast to survive the rapidly rising waters.
By the time I got my purse ready to get out, I couldn't open my doors. I had to climb out through the window and sit on my roof.
A woman and 2 children, unfortunately not so lucky.
Very sad.
Well, as you can see, Washington Boulevard remains closed tonight. As for why those waters rose so quickly, the public safety managers could not say. They say that's something that they are looking into. We know that at least 30 homes are flooded this evening, and again, 1 person still unaccounted for. Reporting live tonight, I'm Tamika Artist to Channel 11 News.
And as the waters rose, many people jumped onto the top of their vehicles. Some even tried to swim to safety. Channel 11's Kara Sapaita continues our Team 11 coverage with the survivor stories.
Right now, workers are still trying to sort through all of the debris and the damage. When we got here tonight, rescue workers actually turned around and they pointed to spots where people were holding on for their lives, some clinging to utility poles, others standing on their cars, 1 man holding onto a tree. Drivers on Washington Boulevard tell us it turned into this high-rushing river in an instant.
The road just exploded. I mean, the concrete flew probably about 4 or 5 feet in the air, and then water just started. It was like geysers.
Chopper 11 was over the rescue operation as it was in full effect. Dozens of drivers and passengers trapped, holding on for their lives. Amy Lavrich tells us she thought she was safe because she was driving a large SUV.
And then the road just opened up. I mean, just opened up, and a white car sunk. This big red pickup truck went under, and then water started coming in my doors. I called 911. They said try to swim for it. The water by that point was over my head.
I drive a Oldsmobile Bravada. It was up over my roof.
79-year-old Bob Bailey was calling his relatives when we found him, letting everyone know he made it out of this nightmare alive.
I was standing on my roof of the car, and the water was up over like to my ankles. So it was covered. It was completely submerged in the water.
My car was floating, and there was a car next to me floating, and I was afraid I was going to get smashed between the 2 cars.
Water rescue teams and boats made save after save, searching for survivors. Hours later, learning not everyone survived.
I heard a lot of other people hollering. I was looking around, and I'm hoping that everybody would be okay. You know what I mean? I hope everybody made it.
Tonight, the city is left with a massive cleanup and a lot of questions, like how they can prevent a tragedy like this from happening again. Reporting along Washington Boulevard, Kara Sapaida, Channel 11 News.